Young Jedi Adventures, Season 1, Episode 25. Thoughts? This episode is called The Prince and the Pirate. This episode is rated TVY, so will this video be another quite good episode? I might spoil Star Wars leading up to and include... It's certainly this show up to and including this episode. Possibly other Star Wars. We shall see. So, I appreciate that based on the start of this episode, Kai has indeed finally internalized the lesson of, working with other people and not being so brash and constantly running into situations without thinking. I mean, he's a kid. Kids sometimes need to learn lessons several times before they, I hope this carries over into Season 2, which I am not 100% certain when I will get to. I mean, post a comment down below if you want me to make it a priority. Let's see. Yeah, so let's see. And it is, of course, important for the actual message of this episode. At first, I was thinking, are we really going to get another episode where he learns those, one or both of those lessons? But yeah. I like the point that, in order to motivate Nash, they point out, there's going to be something she cares about at the place they're going. That's, yeah, that's something that a child can understand, children being the main audience for the show, and, yeah, I feel like, you can do that yourself. You don't necessarily need to, well, maybe as a child, but as an adult, you can try to motivate yourself by reminding you, there's going to be something there. There are some things that it's difficult to motivate yourself towards, but a lot of the time, you can just remind yourself there's something there that you might be really interested in. And yeah, I did not see coming that Tabor was actually Prince Cyrus. That is very much, yeah. I was thinking he was just simply Cyrus the vicariously living through his parents' power. I do quite appreciate, it is this thing of. And they address that by the end of the episode. The moment that I found out I was thinking, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of rich people who do the wrong thing, fully knowing it's the wrong thing. And there's a couple of different reasons. In this episode, it turns out to be that he feels like he has to do something. It's just, his parents are the ones with all the power, and he thinks that they don't care about him personally. And, some of the other things include testing out boundaries and what's the word? Like, basically feeling like, it doesn't matter. They're so sheltered in their lives that they feel like nothing they do wrong actually matters. So why not, kind of thing, But yeah, it is very much, he feels like he can get away with it. And let's see, yeah, I think it's a really important message for children. Just because someone has power does not mean they're not capable of doing something terrible, and some of the worst people are actually incredibly powerful people. And there is a lot of the time a correlation between someone who has tremendous power and someone who does tremendous evil. Evil being something you choose, not something you're born with. And a lot of rich people choose evil, though it is much easier for them to choose good. Some, very disadvantaged people end up doing something, wrong because they don't have much of a choice. It's the lesser of two evils. And, let's see. Yeah, I thought that it's the kind of thing, it can turn out really corny, this thing of like, where did this one person go? Oh, now there's this other person, and people don't realize they're the same person. It's an alter ego, but I thought it worked here. At first, I wasn't sold. When I realized, oh, this episode's going to end without them knowing that that Tabor and Prince Cyrus are the same person, I was like, really, how long are we going to draw this out? But then at the end, it's his choice. And I really appreciate, this works well as a season 1 finale. I wasn't sure how much, because so far the show hasn't done a lot of like, okay, this is a really important, like a lot of shows will do the, every so often there'll be the really important episode that makes a big difference. So far this show, you can kind of just dip in and out, doesn't make a huge difference. They'll bring you up to speed about the stuff you really need to know. But yeah, maybe they're gonna give him a redemption arc. We all know We all know Star Wars does love to do that. That was also a thing. The mask helmet thing coming off, that has been significant in Star Wars since the original trilogy. So, yeah. Let's see. I think that pretty well covers. Yeah. I really love the part at the end where it is indeed together that they defeat Tabor. Not any of them could have done it entirely on their own, and he lost because he was on his own. And it is a little silly because, like, technically he works with the other two, but then they don't, like, I feel like it would have hit harder if they had, like, betrayed him. There was an episode where it was brought up that he doesn't treat them well, but they don't actually betray him. In fact, they don't fail him this entire episode, so I think that could have used another draft. But yeah, let's see, the various discussions, the fact, him realizing, wait, you don't care about the plaque, and they're like, of course we care about the plaque, but it's an inanimate object, it's, and yeah, he doesn't understand because he doesn't have friends, and he feels like his parents don't care about him, and that is also a thing. It's one of those things. I will admit, I don't fully remember the other. I don't even remember if he's been in more than one other episode, but yeah, Cyrus, I forget if it's been made clear if his parents really don't care about him, or if it's just that he doesn't feel like they do, because it's one of those things. There's a lot of rich people who don't care about their kids, and it's not only rich parents who don't. Thankfully, a lot of parents do love their children and do everything they can to make sure they have a wonderful life, but some parents just don't. Some parents are just terrible. And, I've said it before, if you don't think you're going to be a really great parent, please just choose not to have kids. Let's see, if at all possible. I realize it's literally not always up to the, the pregnant person, and yeah. Now, let's see, that, yeah, possibly his parents don't care about him, possibly it's just him being a kid, they're, maybe very busy, yeah. That is definitely something they could do something with if they're gonna give him a redemption arc. The parents could explain, we wish we could spend more time with you, but, these are really important things, And let's see, yeah, Tabor really was going to take off the helmet in the disposal, but then, changes his mind. Not 100% sure what made him change his mind before, because he had another chance there near the end. And I do love Yoda's words of wisdom. There's conflict in you. It's up to you whether this will work out. This is your decision. And, that is the thing. A lot of times it really does boil down to, is this powerful person willing to make a change for the better, or are they going to insist on continuing to do the wrong thing? So, yeah, let's see, but yeah, there where he gets the droid EB3, I want to say, to play along, like, he could have taken off the helmet instead, I guess maybe it's the fact that he thought that they were stuck for a little while inside the garbage disposal, maybe, because it was or maybe just he got scared from which, understandable. And let's see, I think that does pretty much, yeah, kind of made me chuckle when Tabor is running around, trying to because EB3 keeps using the radio, and of course, you know, the kids could recognize that voice because they've heard it a bunch of times. Right, and I do really appreciate, like, I mean, I don't know if they are going to really do a lot to follow up on this, but yeah, if they give him a redemption arc, that could be really interesting, because Tabor is by far the most recurring antagonist of the entire first season. You know, he's in the intro and everything, so if they actually have him start to turn good, you know, yeah, could be very interesting. Some of the best Star Wars stories are when someone redeems, when a seemingly evil character, or sometimes an actually evil character, redeems themselves. Yeah, a little bit about the garbage compactor. You know, yeah, Star Wars does love its little winks, nudges, and nostalgia. So yeah, you know, I suppose I don't want to say exactly which. So far, I haven't actually spoiled Star Wars in this video. Only this episode and the rest of the show, the rest of the season. Yeah, I'll just say this is not the first time we've seen it, and you know, it does seem like very coincidental timing that it starts to compact just as these four are down there. You know, not right before, not right after they leave or anything, but you know, it does have a lot of work ahead of it, so it wants to be ready. You know, Trump's second term is starting, and let's be honest, the things he and his cabinet say and do, it's gonna be garbage.